Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Aloha Friday, the 4th of May. The threat from lava and earthquakes continues to concern Big Island residents. A powerful 6.9 magnitude quake struck around 12:30 this afternoon, so strong that it could be felt in places here on Oahu. It also knocked out power to about 14,000 customers in Hilo, Kaumana, and Puna. About an hour prior, there was a magnitude 5.6 quake. No destructive tsunami was generated from either earthquake, but Hawaii Volcanoes National Park was evacuated and is now closed. As for the volcanic eruption, 6 fissures have opened in Leilani Estates. We have several reports tonight on this volcanic emergency. We begin with Marissa Yamane, who spent the day on the Big Island, and she felt the earthquakes. Marissa?
We sure did. We felt both earthquakes. Right now, though, we are right outside Pahoa High School's cafeteria. Inside, it's standing room only. Lots of folks in there have no doubt questions. Some of them staying just down the road at the community center. That's where they have the shelter open. And among the topics they'll be talking about tonight, things like evacuation areas, hazards, security, as well as shelters. Now, we did speak with Mayor Harry Kim and Civil Defense Administrator Talmadge Magno right before the meeting.
Yes, there's a mandatory evacuation, meaning people should know this is at high risk of destruction. But we have set a policy that we're going to try to help each and everyone individually that we, that we can, to allow them to even stay, and if it's safe enough. So that's not going to be a problem.
How many homes have been surrounded by the lava or destroyed? Any injuries?
We've got 2 structures. One was a house. I'm not sure what the other structure was. And I think there was one medical related, maybe a cardiac type incident. But, you know, fortunately with the high gas levels that we've had, there's been no other incidents related to that. Pretty fortunate because the gases have been very high.
Now, Joe, as for the quakes, take a look at what happened at KTA. We wanted to just make a really quick stop at the Puainako KTA, thinking we just stop in to buy some water as well as some food, and then all of a sudden there was this really large jolt. Things started falling, people started screaming, and this was after that first large quake.
Well, it was kind of like, whoa, because I was in a parking lot, and all I saw was cars. Like, I seen the rumble passing by, and then my mother-in-law is with me, and she was like, Lisa, and I said, no, Mom, don't worry, that's just an earthquake.
I was more concerned about, you know, the shoppers, because, you know, we're fairly busy today, so I was thinking the shelves could have closed in on them.
It scared me. It really scared me, because the first time in my life I ever seen shelves wave back and forth like that.
And then shortly after that, there was a 6.9 magnitude quake. That one lasted longer, and I have to be honest with you, Joe, it was scary.
Right. Thank you very much, Marissa. The earthquakes have prompted Hawaii Volcanoes National Park to close until further notice. Park officials made the decision shortly after a huge plume of ash came out of Halemaumau crater. Experts say the earthquakes caused rocks to fall into the crater.
There has been trees that are dropping on trails. We've had collapses along the Kilauea caldera wall where there's been numerous rock falls dropping into the crater.
The seismic activity also created hairline fractures in the ground along the viewing area. Volcanic eruptions continue in the lower Puna area, prompting residents in Leilani Estates to evacuate. 2 homes have burned so far by the lava, we've been told. Sarah Madison spoke with several residents today. She joins us with more now. Sarah?
Joe, many residents tell me they know the risk of living near an active volcano, but no matter how much you prepare, when lava rips through your community, your whole life is thrown into a whirlwind. Words cannot express the amount of stress volcano victims have been wrestling with.
I feel emotional inside. I just feel really displaced, like I'm not sure what to do. And I feel pretty alone right now. Right now, I just sort of crave being around people. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't want to be isolated.
The uncertainty of the future has been overwhelming.
We don't know if we're going home or not. Yeah, that's all we have. And I have some animals that I couldn't even get last night. It's eating me up inside to see what they're going. They're waiting for me to feed them.
The lava may have torn through the neighborhood, but it has also ignited a sense of community.
So long we know that we can see each other and we're okay. Yeah, we can talk about it. We help each other through this. Yes.
And that aloha spirit has traveled beyond Lower Puna, with many volunteers finding a place where there's need, like making breakfast.
Some of these guys got to stay out here, and I don't wish it upon anybody. So I guess that's why we're here. So thankful that I have a home, a beautiful bed, beautiful family, and so at least you can do is give back.
That's one thing about Leilani. We help each other no matter what. It doesn't matter the color, it's the love, what we have, right? Right. God knows we love each other, take care of each other.
Now, the area continues to be very unstable with multiple eruptions. Officials are asking residents not to attempt to go back home at this time. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Wow, this is deja vu for me. It looks like 1986 when the late Barbara Marshall and I were over on the Big Island covering an eruption into the Royal Gardens subdivision, the lava coming down the street like this. There are some people now who are refusing to leave their homes despite the warnings, and that includes Ikaika Marzo, who's been in the middle of it all, posting updates to social media. We spoke with him last night and again this morning. He says right now they're upwind of noxious gases that have been spewing from the fissures, but they're ready in case anything changes.
We're ready to get out of here. The vehicles that we are in are pretty much pointed in the way that we want to go. So all we got to do is jump in and go. Being here and watching everything go and everything go on is, you know, we pretty much know when it's time.
Well, let's take a look at that 6.9 quake. It did generate a small wave, but not a destructive tsunami. So along the coastlines today, there have been some very unusual currents, and it's best to stay out of the water until the waters start to calm down. Magnitude 6.9 in this area here, and because it was on land, that minimized the tsunami threat. But again, there are some very unusual currents that are still in place. And even over the past 48 hours, we've seen several hundred quakes in areas such as Kapoho, also by Kalapana, and in the volcano area near Halemaumau, as well as the Pu'u'o'o vent. And that doesn't look like it's stopping, including that big 6.9 quake. The worst case scenario would have been a large quake near Kona or along this west coast, which could have generated a tsunami that would have moved into the other islands. Again, that threshold 6.9, but thankfully that didn't happen, and it looks like we got spared. Joe, back to you.
Thanks, Jess. Initially, as you said, officials said no tsunami was generated by the large quakes, but later they said a small, very small wave did form. So how powerful of an earthquake is needed to generate a tsunami? And if one did form, how long would it take to reach each island? Manolo Morales joins us with more on that. Manolo?
Yeah, Joe, here at the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center with the director, Chip McCreary, and certainly 6.9, that's something that you guys would really pay a lot of attention to, and it did generate a tsunami of about a foot, you were telling me, at about 12:30 this afternoon.
That's right. And, you know, 6.9, this is the biggest earthquake we've had in Hawaii since 1975, so it's kind of a wake-up call to all of us that these big earthquakes can happen here.
Yeah, and perhaps people should take note that, okay, we got lucky this time around, but if a destructive tsunami were to go up the island chain, there's not a whole lot of time, really, not a lot of warning for them in order for them to make sure they're in a safe area.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be the most kind of challenging event for the state of Hawaii would be a local tsunami that swept up our island chain, because it really takes only about 40 minutes to cross the whole island chain if it comes from that southwest coast of the Big Island, and so that's not a lot of time. Of course, people on the Big Island would experience the tsunami very quickly after the earthquake, and then it would be a little bit more time for people up the chain, but nowhere near like the amount of time we have for an earthquake coming from Chile or even from the Aleutian Islands, where we have many hours.
Yeah, and I think you were telling me about 15 to 25 minutes for Maui County, and about a half hour for Oahu. That's really not a whole lot of time as it goes up that chain.
That's right. Just that short amount of time, and of course, that's part of that time will get eaten up from, like on Oahu here, you might not feel the earthquake. You might feel it in a small way, not like they'd feel it on the Big Island. It'll take time for us to analyze the earthquake, a few minutes, get an information out to civil defense, sound sirens, and then it's up to the people to know what to do at that point. You don't want people going down to the coast to turn on their TV. They need to know if there was a large earthquake and sirens went off. That's an indication a tsunami could be coming and get away from the coast.
Okay, and I know you made a point earlier, if you're in the coastline, you feel an earthquake, your best move is to go inland from there. That's the best bet.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chip. Joe, back to you.
Thanks, Manolo. There were several schools closed today, including Pahoa High and Intermediate, Pahoa Elementary, and Keonepoko Elementary, along with UH Hilo. The state also closed its Lava Tree State Monument and Mackenzie State Recreation Area until further notice.